today we're going to have a look at just some of the tools we use during our beekeeping. Obviously your toolkit is going to vary depending on what sort of work you're doing, depending if it's harvesting or transferring bees from traps to hives, or whatever the type of work you're going to be doing. So yeah, let's have a look at the type of toolkit we use. So obviously, as a beekeeper or a novice or beginner beekeeper, you're looking for things like the basics, like a hive tool, your standard type hive tool. You got your J types. You don't always need things like lights if you're working at night and stuff. You need a smoker, especially if you're working with the Africanized honeybees. A thing like a brush is useful to have, just to move bees off your lid or off the edges of your box, when you want to close it, or if you're brushing off your supers and that kind of thing. But that is not always 100% necessary in the beginning if you're a novice. And then obviously, your things like cartridges to burn, whatever you want to burn in your smoker. Some people use pine needles, some people use dried leaves, grass. We find for just easy lighting and prolonged burning, we just take cardboard boxes, roll them up and cut them into sections that fit inside of our smokers. And then we light them with a standard blowtorch, just super easy to light. And this on idle will burn for 2-3 hours, so quite handy. But yeah, we can have a look in detail what else we have in our box. All right, so you basically have, obviously your most important thing is your smoker. So let's unpack the box and let's have a look. So we've got 2 smokers because we're often more than one person busy working at the same time. So it's handy to have a toolbox that you can have 2 smokers, especially if you're going on a more commercial scale, that kind of thing. Brushes. Brushes we find come in handy the most when pulling supers. We actually we'll make another video about just pulling supers without bringing a whole lot of bees back to your harvesting area. Pulling the individual frames from your supers when they're full and capped, to brush them off, and obviously having 2 people to do that, it makes the whole process far quicker. So that's why we have 2 supers. A knife, it's always handy to have a knife, especially if your bees have cross-built, even on your brood box. Say if you want to take out your individual frames and for whatever reason the bees have not followed the foundation strip, that they've decided to build across the frames, and you can't get your individual frames out, a knife is handy just to cut along the frames, and it makes it easier to pull out the individual frames. Obviously a torch. We work at night a lot, working on the farms. We can't always work in the day. Also, if you're living in an urban area and there are people or animals around, you have to work at night. So torch is handy. What we've done, we've fitted a steel plate. Our torches have got a magnetic base, and we can actually fit our torch to our box and shine it any direction we want, just so it makes it easier to work at night. Elastic bands, when you're doing relocations or removals of bees, taking individual combs and strapping them to frames. So we use elastics to do that, so that's why it's handy to have elastics. There's your cartridge for your smoker. That's just a spare one. We normally have 3 or 4 at once. Just additional torches, just so that we can move around at night. Duct tape, it's always handy if for whatever reason the box gets damaged, you need to quickly repair it, or you need to strap the lid on, or strap a torch to a tree or a structure, whatever you need, so to provide light. Duct tape's always handy to have. Marker pens for marking. Say if you want to document what's going on in the hive, or you want to mark the date of when you checked it, or what you observed, or whatever you found, marker pens are handy. Queen clips, when you're doing removals, whatever. If you want to get the queen in a clip, if you can get the queen and get her in a box, if you're removing bees out of a ceiling or a pump house or a box or whatever the case is, to get your bees to move and keep your queen safe. Queen clips are handy. Here's another queen clip. Our hives have got the entrances are the same size as a standard sort of Coke bottle cap, so we use that to plug the holes. So that's why we have these sticks, just for plugging holes, because we move say 20, 30 or 40 beehives at a time. Then it's easy, we just go plug the holes with bottle caps. That's why we have a lot of bottle caps here. And then once they're on, we've moved them and they're on the position, you just screw this in, pull the cap out, and the bees can come out again. Pliers, say if you want to tie your box up with a wire, whatever the case is, or you need to pull out nails or whatever the case is, pliers are always handy. Long nose pliers, same story. Some of the hives don't have round entrances, so we use sponges to put them in and out. Sometimes pliers are handy to put your sponges in to close your entrances on your hives. Scissors, either for cutting sponge or for cutting card box or for cutting wax foundation or whatever, handy to have. Your blowtorch for lighting your smoker. Also, if you have like ants living inside and under the aluminium of your lid of your hives or whatever that are just plaguing your hives, this is handy to get rid of ants without affecting your bees. Okay, with those two. Insulation tape, just for sealing your smoker or your bee vac or whatever you want to repair. Here's another torch, also magnetic, fits on there, easy to work around your hive at night. We've got standard type hive tool, that's just for removing frames, for cleaning your frames, for hooking frames out. And then we have the J-type hive tools, which obviously are more effective for pulling frames out. It's just easier to use, checking supers and that kind of thing. I definitely recommend a J-type hive tool over a standard hive tool, just because it's got more functionality. Putty knife. This is basically what we use. You can use it for cleaning. If you have some honey spillage in the bottom of your box, this scoops it out quicker. Also for melting propolis. Say if you want to bait a box quickly, you're in the field, you haven't got a large pot of melted wax or propolis. You can just place your propolis on, pieces of propolis on top of your putty knife. Heat it up with your blowtorch and it melts, and you can quickly spread it on the inside of your hive or your entrances just to quickly bait the box. And then you have straps. So very useful. These standard pull tight straps. These ones that you can put around a hive. Let me just get this right. Put around a hive and pull tight. Very handy to have if your lid is loose and worried about it on the back of a vehicle opening up while you're transporting, and if your lid opens up, you can have bees all over the place. So very, very handy to put straps around your hives when transporting. So I definitely recommend getting a decent toolkit together. It just makes your beekeeping so much easier, and you don't have loose odds and ends. Everything is together in one box. So I would recommend building yourself one. You can also buy them from us. We build them. So if you need one, you can just comment below. And if you have any other questions about tools, equipment, beekeeping, please post it in the comments, and we'll make a video explaining the best we can. And remember, please like and subscribe.